Don't leave anybody. I promise we're gonna.
Hey everyone, and hello Sadie.
Hello. It's so good to see you face to face. I mean, we've had phone calls before. We might have done a Zoom a long time ago, but I don't know. Is this the first time we've done like a face to face?
Yeah, I feel like I know you really well and don't know you at all.
That's the weird part about social media, isn't it? It's social, but it's also like not real.
Yeah, uh, the whole dynamics of psychology of social media is something that fascinates me. Can't say I really understand it, but I do find it interesting.
Yeah, we do our best, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason, tell Bookstagram, tell all these people like what is it that you do day to day for Apex magazine?
I boss people around, you know. No, I actually should have said I boss writers around. So mostly, I'm publisher and editor. It means I have a lot on my plate, and I guess if anyone would appreciate that, that would be you, as you are also an awesome publisher and editor. Um, my day to day, and involves reading submissions, copy edit, developmental edits. I do occasional freelance, especially when I need some spending money for like the upcoming Worldcon. Um, do the back end stuff for the websites. Lots and lots of customer support and lots of um, engagement with cool people online.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're busy. I do know a lot about that.
Yeah, I saw someone, bless her heart, she wrote a blog about it was just a because I'm vain, I have like a search for my name, and this writer lady said I was the busiest person in genre, and
Damn.
I was like, well, they obviously don't know Sadie, but okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, I also, but I mean, I did bring out this stack to show everybody my
Oh,
magazine haul. You look at the cover art on these, and they have like they're full of excellent little stories. And inside there's also more artwork, so these need to be read all the way through. um, I'm just doing a little show and tell here. This is one of my favorite covers, actually. You can't really see it because it's so glossy, but that's part of that's part of the quality, my friends, is that glossy.
that's right.
That's right.
The
That's,
gloss and varnish.
oftentimes you feature um the authors too that are inside. Oh yeah, every time. That's inside. And a cool thing is I actually have found some of my favorite horror authors by first appearing in here. Like Cassandra Cobb was that was the first time I read Cassandra Cobb was when she was in um 2018's issue.
Really? Wow.
Uh, yeah.
You owe me one because she's amazing.
Yeah, look, she was also in a March issue. I think too, after I read Ring Shout, now I don't remember if this was Tor.com or if this was you, so correct me if I was wrong. But after reading Ring Shout by Peter Jelly Clark, I was like, I wish there was more to this story. And there actually was a short story in Apex, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the universe for Ring Shout.
Yeah, it was incredible getting to publish him. And actually, that story came out, I think, just like a year or two before Ring Shout. Um, we weren't the original publishers, but we did give it a good platform, and uh, hopefully it played like 2% towards him being discovered by Tor.com.
Yeah, that's
I'll
awesome.
take 2% credit.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of my favorite authors.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's amazing, so that's really cool. And Jason, tell everybody about this Kickstarter that you have running right now. It has like some of the most killer rewards I've seen on a Kickstarter.
uh, well, uh, it is to fund some of our Apex Magazine projects for 2023. Um, I'm always scheming, and oftentimes these schemes require some financial backing. The Kickstarter has funded. We're working on some really cool stretch goals. We are very, very close to. So Apex Magazine has this Discord, and the Discord members are very excited about this particular stretch goal, where Leslie Connor and I will read one of our short stories from the magazine, one of our favorites, and they're hoping that one of us will cry when we read
Yeah,
it. They're a sadistic bunch,
yeah.
So uh, we almost have unlocked the story from Daniela Tomova and E. Catherine Tobler. A couple of outstanding writers who have been in the magazine before. Um, some really cool add-ons. I got a couple I'm not allowed to mention because we're saving them for the last 5 days of the Kickstarter. The final big push. So that would be Monday
Oh,
when we'll
wow.
announce those. The Kickstarter ends on Friday. Um,
Oh, this Friday.
Next Friday.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, just make sure everyone knows it is a week from Friday.
Okay. Yeah, so don't walk over there. You got to run over there, correct?
That's right. We're getting closer to being able to increase our rider pay. Uh, there's a mystery box where I take random things from this office and throw them in the box. Uh, People always seem to enjoy that one.
That
And there's cool swag, and I think there's some story critiques, 2 or 3 available from Leslie. So if you're a writer, you may want to jump on that. She's an incredible editor, actually my co-editor in chief. So
awesome. Jason, was there a reward from Eric LaRocca?
I wish
I thought I saw that.
it would. No,
That
maybe it had a title like one of his books, like Your Fingers Looking Putrid Right Now, or something like that. He's got the coolest book titles. Uh,
yeah, that's definitely part of his brand for sure.
mm-hmm. But yeah, nothing from Eric. We do have some as so whenever we do these Kickstarter things, I like to highlight 6 writers who I think are deserving of more attention. So as a part of the Kickstarter, we announced our commitment to quality uh, writers, and like Sarah Tantlinger
Oh yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah, she's one of them. Last year was Gabino Iglesias. Not sure he really needed any boosts from us, but uh, it was nice to have him as one of our authors.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's real.
We we do get lots of horror writers dipping their toes into the speculative side, and I would say probably at least half of what we publish you could call speculative horror and
Yeah,
not just like dark SF.
yeah, I would totally agree with you. Um, I think like some of the stories do tap a horror vein. Like I said, I've definitely run across some of my favorite um, authors in here. Like T. King Fisher has been in here. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, oh yeah, I mentioned Cassandra Claw, but also Rachel Harrison, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Sherry Priest, which is funny because I was doing a little bit of research on some earlier horror, like in the 2000s, and Cherie Priest actually has a lot of like horror novels, and
Her very first book is this in this one of my favorite all time books. Uh, it's a Southern Gothic thing with a dash of horror. Uh, 4 and 20 Crows or something
oh,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, I have a first edition of it over here. Probably one of my more valuable belongings or collectibles that I have. I believe I published her very first story, her very first short story back in 2005.
Oh wow, wow,
Yeah,
you
it
there
was,
a long time.
yeah, it was this weird story about a sushi chef and some weirdness with the sushi. Yeah.
I've actually read a few weird sushi stories. I'm drawing a blank right now, but I read like a author collection, and it was Eric Guggenard, if I'm saying that correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has a sushi story that's really weird and super memorable, but I already have like a complex with sushi, so I don't need more.
Not a fan.
I mean, I like it fine and I'll go out for it, but I mean in terms of like raw fish, it's kind of like a little iffy. I just started having like, the raw tuna, but like I don't want to do like eel or raw scallops. I'm working up to the real deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could do raw tuna, raw salmon, things like that. But yeah, I can't do anything slimy.
No, nothing slimy. No.
So
Awesome. Well, how else can bookstagrammers find you guys on the internet? Like, what's the best way to support Apex Magazine and what you guys are doing?
well, currently, it's backing the Kickstarter. If you want to find us on the internet, we are everywhere. Social media, our website, apex-magazine.com. Um, our Twitter is at ApexMAG. Our Instagram is at Apex Book Company, which it occurs to me I should have logged in as Apex Book Company
Yeah, I sent
so
you.
that people can find us from that account. Too late though.
No, totally fine. And there's a little. They have a cat instead of like the alien head on Jason's shirt. Their profile picture is a little. Oh.
Yeah, it's that's Pumpkin, my little orange tabby. He's a handful. Um, I also have a very hyperactive goldfish. His name
What?
is Twitchy. Let's see if I can not really screw this up.
Hyperactive goldfish.
He, oh,
Oh yeah,
he's yeah, he's not very hyperactive right now. He's
no.
had a long day. I've been down here almost all day, and what he'll do is he will swim up to the surface of the tank here, and while I'm working, he will knock into it, and I'll keep hearing like a little dunk, dunk,
Aw.
and
Just
I'll look over, and he's like looking at me like I didn't do that.
yeah.
I have yet to catch him knocking into the tank. It's so strange. It's like a little game he plays with me.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love it. Um, Jason, also, so you guys used to publish books because I think some of my most recommended books that I've been recommending since like 2017 are Apex books. Like there's a Damien Angelica Walters collection. There's Michael Hunt's The Greener Path
Mm-hmm.
everybody talks about. That's Apex. Um, that Wicked,
James Newman novel, The Wicked. Yeah.
Wicked, yeah. So and Christy DeMeester's collection, everything that's underneath, I think it's called. Um,
Mm-hmm.
those are all Apex books. So, but you guys don't do publish books anymore, is that correct?
That is incorrect.
Oh,
Uh, our book publishing arm is still very active. It's apexbookcompany.com. Um, you may have thought it was shuttered because here in the last few weeks it's been magazine because of the Kickstarter. Uh, and plus, we had that relaunch about 2 years ago, and
maybe that's what I was thinking of.
could be. And plus, frankly, 90% of people in the field who read or are into genre stuff who are aware of Apex know us through the magazine. But we have a wonderful line of books as well. We actually had a novel make the Nebula Award ballot this year for best novel.
Well,
Jason Sanford's Plague Birds.
oh, awesome.
So
Congratulations.
yeah, the book
That's really,
stuff is very much alive.
I love that. Um, author Hamlin Bird wants you to have a story. He would love a story about a character who feeds sushi to his goldfish.
That's kind of morbid, isn't it? Although, if
Listen,
you drop sushi into like a koi pond, they're gonna be like nom nom nom,
yeah,
right?
I don't think they'll hesitate on that at all.
So how are things there at Not Worms? Gosh, you've made that into such a great business. I remember when like you'd sent me an email asking me, I guess, some questions about running a press and doing book boxes and stuff, and
Hmm?
it feels like it was forever ago, but
I know.
really I think it was like 5 years, and just in that amount of time you built this juggernaut. um, and and you edit anthologies now and you run a publishing house. Tell me what kind of wizardry you have going on that gives you more hours in the day than the rest of us.
Well, I mean, it would be a feat if I actually was getting everything done that I'm supposed to be getting done every day, but I do have to keep to a very strict schedule and I do get up at 4 in the morning. So
Hmm.
um, I put myself to bed at 8 o'clock. I do read until I get tired, which is, 5 10 minutes. And then I'm out. And then, yeah, my alarm is set for 4 in the morning. I get up, I take care of a lot of emails. I hit all the emails first and make sure that I just hit that fresh out of the gate, just to, East Coast people and stuff have been up for a while. Um, so, yeah, so then I try to get some writing done while it's still early in the morning because
And you're right.
Nightworms, fortunately, is something that Ashley and I do together, and we both
Mm-hmm.
have jobs that we fulfill. So during the month, it has its high points and low points, like in terms of productivity and busyness. So, like, we just packed August and shipped it out. So it's kind of the calm before the storm of September and getting all of that like prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
you've got Halloween coming up, big season.
yeah, and actually, that anthology that Ashley and I edited together is going to be in the October package. So
Nice. Yeah,
yeah,
that's fantastic.
that'll be fun.
Uh, yeah, I look forward to getting my grubby little hands on that anthology.
Yeah,
See
absolutely.
what see what kind of goodies you and Ashley have going on there. So I would you're probably, if not already there, at the point when in the business where you have helpers.
Mhm.
Do you have helpers to? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we keep it in the family. We don't have to like technically hire anybody, because I have like adult children. So my daughter and her best friend and their roommate come over and help us every time we're going to pack packages or do goodie bags. So we have like a crew of like 20 something college age kids who are always willing to make some extra money, and they come over and we buy everybody some treats and some coffee and we have a good time. We like put on some music and shoot the shit and gossip and stuff for about 4 or 5 hours while we do all of our packing. So we haven't had to like really hire out. And
So you make. I hate doing fulfillment,
no, we're
and
not.
it sounds like you're making it a fun day.
Yeah, it's a fun day. And we don't want to do like third party fulfillment, which is something that we've had to like kick around a few times. Like, oh, do we want to scale? Do we want to grow? And like really just, kickstart this thing into high gear. But no, we really like the quality control of keeping it smaller.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something. Uh, as a small business owner, I've kind of come to terms with here in the last couple of years. I was like, well, I can make this thing larger, but then I got to start hiring more people and um, think about national distribution.
Right.
And I was like, I just love having my hands in the product,
Yep.
having my grubby little paws on everything that we produce.
Yeah, exactly. That's how we feel too. I mean, especially when you're dealing with books, we know that readers are very particular about their dust jackets and they want everything just so. And then in the goodie bags, we want to make sure everybody gets their book plates, everybody gets their beverage, everybody gets their things. And we just would worry if it was in somebody else's hands, stuffing things into it without thinking about our customers. We think about our customers more than anyone else is going to. So
Mm, that that's really really cool.
yeah, yeah. So oh, hi Laura. There's so many cool friends coming in and out. Can you see the little scroll there?
Yeah, I do. I see the stream. Um, if anyone has questions or would like us to commiserate about a certain subject, uh, that probably sounds weird. Commiserate from like someone from Southeast Kentucky. I don't know if there's a disjunction there or not. Uh,
Sounded fine to me. Y'all are the
just
best.
say so in chat, and uh, we will pontificate about most anything, really. So,
Yeah, whatever's on your mind.
uh, okay, I really like this person. You all are the best in the biz. She reads with cats.
Do you
Love
know?
you. I don't. I've seen the username. Who is? I don't know who that is though.
Yeah, Janelle's the coolest. She definitely is like the person that I aspire to be in terms of how much she can read every year. It's fucking crazy. Here's one from Panda13476. What's the scariest book you've ever read?
The Troop.
Nick Cutter. Yeah.
Yeah, Nick Cutter's The Troop. That
Yeah.
that really. I'm eked out by body horror. Like I have trouble watching Cronenberg movies for that reason,
Yeah, same.
and The Troop is just takes anything Cronenberg's ever put on film and just exponentially blows it up. And the fact that all this happens to a bunch of kids. I don't know how Nick got that book published, but I'm glad he did. It freaked me out.
Yeah, that scared me too. I read that on like a camping trip and it was perfect for that. Um, and also, I would say my scariest book, I actually just talked about this today on my Bookstagram, but I think Adam Neville is one of the scariest horror writers in the industry. And Cunning Folk, I just read Cunning Folk and also Last Days, and both of those were freaking terrifying. Like the kind of horror where you're reading it and you're kind of looking around and making sure
Mm-hmm.
that nothing is standing.
He's a great writer. He has, you know how some writers just have style that pulls you along.
Yeah.
I would describe Adam Neville as someone like that. I went on an Adam Neville just like binge a couple of years ago. Read like 7 or 8 of his books. I can't remember names of them now because I read them so quickly and it was just like a stream. But I just remember totally loving them. And I even read the one that was that they made the Netflix movie on.
Oh, The Ritual.
The Ritual, yeah.
Yeah, that was scary.
I thought the book beat the movie, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked The Creature from the movie, but I
The
liked the
Creature,
ending.
yeah.
Yeah,
All
it
right,
was
here's
good.
a question. How do you choose the writers you work with? Frankly, so I'm really big on people who take the initiative. I think those are the kind of people that are best to work with and who are willing to put some time into their success. That is a must have quality to be a successful small press writer. Um, so, those individuals who take the time to meet me at conventions, um, like share some coffee with me, um, or formulate, a fake relationship on social media that turned into something that I remember. I'm like, okay, so and so. And then I may see randomly they have a story somewhere, and I go read that story, and I'm like, God damn, that was really good. Maybe they got some more, or they will eventually send me a query or their agent with pitching a novel or a collection or whatever. Um, in a roundabout way, I guess I'm saying there are many like different angles that you can come into a business relationship with Apex, because we rarely hold book submission reading periods. Leslie and I we've done that a couple times, and while we have found some really good books, we prefer to work with writers who we have a relationship with.
It makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you have to go out to conventions and stalk us, but just make some effort to engage with us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you're going to enter into business with people, it's good to know who they are. Yeah, that's important.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because with small and micro press, it's basically you, the author, maybe one marketing person, and the editor, and that's about it, right? And if you're working with someone who's unpleasant, it's going to be a miserable experience.
Yeah.
They're right there. And
Yeah.
yes, that has happened to me before. So I work to avoid that these days, especially since, like I said earlier, I had to have my hands in everything.
Yeah.
How about you? Now that you're editing, publishing, um, how do we get on your radar?
Well, so for the anthology, we did like part invitation and part open call. And I think it was really the best of both worlds because Ashley and I did have some authors that we really wanted to work with for this anthology and see stories of human monsters from them, just based on like what we've read from them before. But then the open call was like one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. Like we had somewhere in the neighborhood of like over 900 submissions and a
That's
team
good.
that helped us.
Hmm.
But I developed all these new relationships with new authors and just my eyes were completely open to how vast the talent pool is in horror and how many people are out there writing amazing stuff and are super talented. So I thought it was fun to put together this anthology that has seasoned writers who are familiar to people with up and coming rising stars with brand new voices who that was their first time ever being published and getting paid. So it's kind of like the whole gamut of the industry, which I thought was really cool.
That's awesome. I, you hear disgruntled writers often complaining about how hard it is to break in. That all editors want are stories from writers that had graced table contents a dozen times. And honestly, nothing gives me the warm and tinglies more than um, being able to say I published someone for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And it's cool to hear you say that. And it falls in line with my discussions with all the other editors. We're always wanting to find new voices, new talent.
yeah. I mean, like somebody told us like after we started sending out acceptance letters, somebody told us like this was their first paid story that was ever, purchased for after they've submitted. Some people told us it was their first submission and their first acceptance. Some
Dang, that's a
Yeah,
way to start.
yeah, some people like one woman told us that she this was her first English speaking story. So like, she had submitted to stories from her country, but this was the first time she'd ever submitted to something in the States. And
Yeah.
I think that that's really cool.
The little orange flash, that was Pumpkin's tail.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
and
know
I
if you saw it.
too that they have us on like a limited time frame on this thing. So I think it will give us a warning when we're running out of time.
Oh, okay. Uh, Fair enough.
But there's a question for you.
I'd
Um,
love to hear your thoughts on selecting a specific niche enough subject for an anthology and at the same time keeping it broad enough to sell enough copies. Oh, yeah, there's a fine art to that, right? I back in 2019, I tried to fund a Kickstarter for an anthology um, that was about the resistance movements, and it ended up not funding. So I thought at the time, that would be a popular subject. But I guess I'm that's a tough question.
yeah. Yeah, because I mean it this like I guess like if you're doing like a very specific call for a specific theme, you're trying to have the stories match with that theme, but also you want it to be able to like appeal to a wider audience, I guess. But we're in horror, so we're already like kind of in it.
Yeah. Uh, Oftentimes it's a lot of these anthologies that you'll see, not the giant ones from like Ellen Datlow uh, or Cemetery Dance, but like the smaller press anthologies, those are often spur of the moment kind of things that were generated from an idea on Twitter, and then like hundreds of people were like, yes, that's a great idea. I love reading stories about cats in space. Uh, if someone were to edit this, I would buy it. So well, that happens a lot. It's just there's just various different ways to approach that, the answer to that question, and I don't think I really have a specific bit of advice. Sorry.
I think that was good. I mean, cats in space. Let's do it. Um, are there horror lines you won't cross? I can't read books that have children in danger of sexual predators.
Yeah, no one wants to read that. I
No.
don't want to read it. Uh, that's an automatic rejection from me and Leslie too,
Yeah.
uh, especially for the magazine. Um, we don't like stories of uh, women being abused by spouses. Uh, Really, abuse stories.
Yeah. Do you put that in
Yeah.
your
It seemed like in the 80s and early 90s, people were more into that thing. But I guess thankfully nowadays, people's sensibilities have changed and they just don't, the people that enjoy that have decreased. I just think there's more interesting ways to build a good horror piece than falling on an old crutch like that.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with you. I think like and that person who asked that question said that like do you have personal triggers that you have to push through for submissions too? Like that was her personal trigger, but like do we have personal triggers? And I would say for me and Ashley's anthology, we just included those in our sub calls, like things we did not want to read. Like we don't want to read cruelty to animals. We don't want to read any like, um, the typical stuff, really. I mean, for the most part, since we're horror fans, there's a lot of stuff we do, you know, we can push through for the sake of a redemptive story or sometimes just a bleak ending. I mean, it just is really variable. But I mean, there are like hard lines. Like, I just don't. I don't want to read cruelty to animals. Like, it just really makes me,
Mm-hmm.
like, to your point about the scariest book you read is The Troop. I mean, there is animal cruelty in that book, but I just kind of like skimmed over it. Um, so
Yeah, and it's a group of kids that are on an island and have, I don't want to spoil it, but they don't, most of them meet unfortunate circumstances.
right,
But you know, that's, if the story is not so much about them being a kid and more in line with they need to be this age for the plot, um, I definitely think you can get by with that. I mean, there are stories on Apex Magazine that we've published even recently where there's death of children, um, and often Leslie Connor is the advocate for those because she's a mother. She has one kid going off to college, one that's turned 14, which as a parent, you know, it's a very stressful age. And I think some of her anxieties about her kids are shown through her editorial choices that way because
mm-hmm.
there's lots of stories dealing, well, just I'm having trouble encapsulating my thoughts about this. There, because it is a complicated subject.
Right.
It's just when you're reading something, you can just tell when it's abusing someone just for abusing's sake,
Yeah,
or you know, there's the difference in tone. There's plot, uh, important plot and thematic issues going on around it. So
yeah. That's what I was gonna say too, is you can tell when it's being like exploitive or it's just there for shock. But
okay, there you go. Those are two words that I think I was digging for.
oh, well, I'm gonna hit this really quick and then we should probably wrap up just because A, my phone's gonna die, and B, we only have like 5 minutes. Um, so Jeremy Wagner's here and he said, I just stumbled on your IG live. You don't see the great Jason Sizemore and Mother Horror having an open discussion every day. Will you post this for fans and authors? Yes, Jeremy, I'm hoping that when I end this, it will prompt me to save this video. People have told me that's what's going to happen, so I'm hoping it happens.
Yeah, this has been a blast. I would be willing to do it like on a semi-regular basis if there was, you know, enough interest. I get to talk to Sadie and talk about horror.
Yeah, why not? Yeah,
Nothing. This sounds like a kick-ass Wednesday night for me.
yeah. I mean, this is the first time I've ever done Instagram Live, so I mean, why not? It'd be cool.
Yeah, I can definitely, especially you have a lot of followers on Instagram. Yeah, this is probably a feature that you could leverage more often.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I've always just been kind of like, I don't know how to do it, so I never have, but not that hard.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
And it was great
yeah,
getting to speak with you.
yeah. It was really good to speak with you too. I hope everybody goes and supports this Kickstarter. I'm sure you don't have to, buy in at a tier level that's outside your comfort zone. If you just want to give like 5, 10 bucks, I'm sure there's an option for that, right?
Yeah, there's levels for that. If honestly, if you just wanted to give a buck, that's perfectly okay, because that increases the backer count, which helps you in the Kickstarter ratings. So the more backers you have in your category, the higher you'll be on their search algorithms and like top 10 lists. So you're
Awesome.
found more often. Um, Sorry we didn't get to more questions. Uh,
Yeah, we'll do it again. How about that?
okay.
We'll just put a pin in it and we'll do it again. We'll answer some questions, some horror industry questions, and you guys can ask us about like really embarrassing things that Jason will have to answer.
Oh, and sometime I'll have to invite you to do a snap judgment with us. I don't know
Oh,
if you're aware. You know what that is?
no.
Okay. Oh, it's a live stream event where the narrator reads the first 250 words to our editorial panel, which is Leslie, myself, and a third guest, and we raise our hand if we hit a point in the story where we would reject it,
Okay.
and then after the intro is read, we then give a short feedback discussion and session. It seems to be very popular, and writers seem to really like it because we do our best not to be mean or,
Right. Right.
we truly want to help people.
Yeah. It's constructive. That sounds really constructive. Yeah, I would love to be on that. That would be fun.
Cool.
Okay. Well, we'll call it a night, and I'm gonna go eat my enchiladas that I made before we got.
All right. Good night,
Okay.
everyone.
Thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.